Hi, Dora, even though we can't see you.
Hi, Dora.
Hi.
All right, beautiful people.
Okay.
Here.
Welcome to the first Wild Love Turtle Island reunion. Planting seeds for this caravan that's going to take place.
I don't have any sound.
So they're going to be doing it in Europe at the beginning of June, mid-June. Myself, Lori Handlers. Who else is going to be there?
Can you guys hear me?
Oh,
I can't.
I am.
We
Yes,
can.
August, we hear you. Yes, we hear you.
I'm going to be there. Chris is going to be there. Rich is
I'm
going to be there
I'm gonna be there.
in Europe.
I'm a maybe.
All
Is it
right,
maybe?
Christopher.
Oh, Christopher.
All right, so what do we want to do? Okay, so people that are walking around and making noise, please
Mute yourself.
Mute yourselves. And yeah, this is open forum. Anybody could chime in at any time. I'm wondering, do we want to start off with a quick introduction? Yes, let's just, not a big story. We don't need to be caught up in your life. We're all here for wild love. Just state who you are and your affiliation to this circle, and that's it. So state who you are. Who's on this call?
I'll go. I'm Laurie Handlers. I know everybody on here except Adora Diana, but I think I don't know if I'm going to meet you soon or not. Anyway, what my affiliation is that I was at the first Glastonbury event where Bruce conceived of the idea of wild love, and what I understand it to be, which I'll state because maybe not everybody understands what it is. Some of us have been involved in politics or were political. Some of us are apolitical and resist politics. And mostly we feel at this time that we can just stand up for love, that we don't have to take a position politically. Maybe it's time to stand up and be counted for some other cause altogether. And if there are thousands and thousands of us, we cannot be ignored. So we're hoping to engage thousands of people as we go through Europe. People will be jumping on and off of something like a caravan. And Frank is instrumental in putting together a caravan that goes to the United States. And we hope that things will go further south in South America, but we don't know that yet. And then there'll probably be some movement like this in Israel and some movement like this as well in Australia, New Zealand. And it's happening between June and September of 2020 because astrologically, according to Bruce, this is the same circumstances that were present in the 60s. People started having a free love movement. And so now Bruce is creating wild love movement. That's the best overview and understanding that I can give to this. And I was part of the 60s, and so I might as well be part of this.
Well done, Laurie Handlers. Thank you for framing the context for the purpose of this call. Aho.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll go next. So I'm Crystal Dawn. I think I know everyone on this call. And I'm just going to add just a little more clarity around the astrological piece.
Okay.
It's Pluto is conjunct Jupiter. Pluto, the god of the underworld, is conjunct Jupiter, which is like the expansion of joy and love. And that aspect will go on for the next, I don't know, couple of years. It goes back and forth. And that's going to trigger lots of other aspects in the sky. But on the day that we're doing this thing in Glastonbury, that will be the day that conjunction comes together at the same time as there's a lunar eclipse at dawn on the summer solstice. So that's part of why we're doing it there at that time. So I'm excited. I wasn't there the first one, but I'm going to be there this year, and I'm excited to see what happens. And I'm excited to see how the tribe here on Turtle Island can spread the love on Turtle Island. And I'm excited so many people are on this call. And thank you, Frank, for organizing it.
And there's a lot of people that couldn't make this call but are interested. So a lot of this is for them as well.
Frank, why is this called Turtle Island?
So Turtle Island is what the Native Americans call this continent, Turtle Island. So there's a lot of prophecies that include the term Turtle Island. So if we're rewilding love, let's go straight to the source and meet each other from that perspective. It was a suggestion. So code name, Wild Love Turtle Island. It doesn't mean we have to go to public with that. This is just an energy spin that I enjoyed putting on it.
I love Turtle Island. I think that's a great code name.
I just
Yeah,
also, are you
next.
recording, Frank?
Yeah, everything's being recorded.
Okay, good.
Okay, I'll go next.
Yay.
Rich Prittis. I'm here in Las Vegas with Liz Alamia, and we're creating some wild love
Yes.
here to set the tone for this call.
Yay. Yay.
I'm the one of the global organizers for ISTA, and I'll be at the, what is it? I thought it was the first event, but it sounds like there was a first event already. But the one in June that's kind of kicking everything off, I'll be there in Europe, in England, and yeah, I'm getting more excited being on this call to think about the tour. So, and I'll let Liz introduce herself.
Rich, there were two events prior to this. One was last June in Glastonbury where Bruce conceived of this. We came together to challenge the notions of King Arthur and the King Arthur's court. There were 12 of us, and we challenged the notion of ownership of a person, and the battle between Arthur and Lancelot over Guinevere, and we challenged all of that in Glastonbury. And then Bruce had another event this year in Scotland, and I wasn't at that, but I understand it was pretty wild love. So
Okay. Okay, so anyway, I'll be at the one in June.
The one in
Hi,
June.
everybody.
Go ahead, Liz.
I'm Liz, and wow, I didn't know I was going to be here, which is something really cool for me, because the first time I saw this wild love thing on Facebook, I think it was Bruce who posted it, my heart just jumped out, and I was like, wow, this is me. And I was even texting privately someone, I believe was Raffaello, because I'm like, I have the call, but then I just didn't know how to follow up, and I happen to be here right now, today, at the right time, which is kind of interesting. So I'm just going to go with the flow, and yeah, that's pretty much why I'm here. It's just, I guess, alignment.
Hey, Liz.
We are complete.
Yeah, I'm complete.
I can share next. Hi, everybody. My name's Usha. I'm an organizer in Northern California. I just organized for the first time in August and have another one scheduled in October. ISTA Level 1 with Philippe. And I'm just really curious. I feel like I'm still collecting information about what the vision is and what it actually looks like, this Wild Love Tour. I would love to come to Europe this summer. I don't know if I'll be able to or not yet, but it's definitely on my radar. And I'm just really excited to be in this field and soaking up as much information as I can and participating as much as I can. And I really love organizing. So yeah, excited to be here and curious to learn more.
Uh-huh.
I'm complete.
Hi, I'll go next. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Matt. What can I say? I know almost everyone here except I think Christopher and Laura. I'm a budding organizer. I'll be organizing my first event, like ISTA training in October this year, level 2 in Montreal, Quebec. I work with Frank on a number of things, assistant to every little taster he gives, and I'm just very enthusiastic about having an event like a caravan event. I love to travel, love to go around. I'm an organizer at heart, so really excited to see what's coming out. My next, yeah, I'll leave it as that. I'm feeling pretty complete.
Cool, I'll go next. All right, everybody see me? Can hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, awesome. Johnny Vajra here. I'm here definitely at the behest of Mr. Frank Mondose. We were talking about this event in Sweden, and I was very excited to hear more about it. I guess my background, why I'm a budding facilitator or organizer, and looking potentially to become an apprentice in the near future with no attachment to any of that. But very excited to work with a lot of you on this call, the ones that I know for sure. And so yeah, I have an enthusiasm for next year to do a lot and to step out confidently in my space in Florida and my state. And however that looks in other locations, and this definitely sounds like something that I want to be on board with, and if it aligns with of my other commitments, then I am a definite yes to this. And yeah, so I'm excited to learn more about what this entails and how I can show up and contribute. I'm complete.
Thank you.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, great. Hi, I'm Kay. I seeded and helped build the New York City community, the ISTA community. And we've been rewilding a very wild city, and really looking forward to just being a part of this and supporting as well as we possibly can. I'm complete.
I can go. Can you guys hear me? I'm not sure if I'm muted or not.
You're not moving.
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay. I'm August. I know most everybody on the call. I'm an organizer here in the Deep South. I don't really know much about the Wild Love Tour, but anything that Bruce seeded and Frank and Lori are up to, I'm on board with pretty much. My vision is really to open up the South to more conscious relating, also to bring in the African-American community into this field, which seems to be, there seems to be kind of a different expressions in the sacred sexuality community between African-Americans and people that look like me. I don't know how that fits into this, but for some reason it's something I'm passionate about. Yeah, so I'm up to anything that gets people in a conscious conversation for better relationships and releasing shame around sexuality. So I'm down for whatever we're up to, and wanting to learn more for sure. Like Usha, I'm not really clear what we're doing, but I'm definitely on board with participating. Yeah. And I'm complete. I cannot tell if this is even, if you guys heard me.
Yeah,
We heard you.
We heard
Okay.
Kauru, Carolyn, Christopher, let's go. Adora.
Hi, I'm Adora,
Yay.
and I live in what we know as Vancouver, Canada, on the unceded lands of Tsleil-Waututh, Squamish, and Musqueam. And I am really happy to be a part of Wild Love. I'm new to this, very much like August and Usha, in terms of the Wild Love. I've been working with Philippe on registration.
Adora, can you speak up a little bit? You seem to be very, yeah, that's good.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'm Adora, I've been working with Philippe on some of the registrations for his events, including Level 2 in Costa Rica coming up, and the California Level 1 and Level 2 in Northern California that just passed. I'm really looking forward to finding out more about Wild Love, and very curious like Usha and August. So I'm really happy to be here and see what I may be able to offer. Thank you. And I feel complete.
Thank you.
Hello, can I speak? Hi, I'm Kaoru. I live in New York City. Yeah, I don't know anything about the Wild Love, but I'm excited. I'm so into tarot and astrology, so the story Crystal told me right now is kind of exciting me. So yeah, looking forward to finding out more today. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mistifer, and I guess I'm also a little bit of a newcomer compared to this august assembly of ISTA movers and shakers. I don't see myself on this, but I guess you're hearing me. Are you hearing me?
Yes.
Okay, great. And I've been working, I'm a ritual theater director. I've been working with Dawn Cherie on our initiative, the STAR initiative, to try to put the power and relevance of ritual theater in service of this amazing organization and the experiences that you offer. We got to do our sort of first large-scale thing at the festival in Israel about I don't know, several weeks ago, and that was really beautiful. We did a 750-person Astarte Shabbat, and you know, celebrated this ancient goddess probably for the first time in 3,000 years in that region. And yeah, so we've been invited to come back and do it there, and also at the Berlin Festival, so in July. So we're at the beginning of July. So that is plan A, that we're going to try to do that. And if I'm there in Berlin, I would try to come also to the Glastonbury thing before it. And in between those two times, like in August especially, I'm very open to find a way to integrate, to help, either in a larger format or in one of the smaller ones that we can do into something in North America. That's what I got. Hasta così.
Carolyn.
Hi. Can everyone hear me okay? Good. So hi, I think I know everyone, and I'm so glad to see everyone. I've had a hell morning, and it just makes my heart sing to see your faces. I'm based out of Toronto. I've been working, co-organizing with Frankie to do level 1s in Montreal. We've done 2. We've started to build a little momentum in Toronto, and we are very happy to say that we will be hosting the first level 1 in Toronto in July 2020. So yeah, with Lori and Frank and Amber. I miss the 60s, like the free love of the 60s. And I was always pissed off about that. And so when this came up and I heard about it, I'm like, oh my God, I get to experience it. Hi. I'm excited. I'm excited to see, hey, hi. I'm excited to see what this is going to be and how I can contribute and support it. I'm complete.
Awesome. So Om is the last one.
You want to go?
Oh, there. This is the first time hearing of all this. Sounds really great. Waiting to hear more. Over and out.
Your own passion. All right. All right. So, yeah, I just feel like going inside for a second. A beautiful opportunity to bring all our souls together. You know, Wild Love is already working we're bringing like our consciousness, and we're gathering together, and we're sharing ideas, and we're building a vision of love. And I think ultimately that's what Wild Love is about, and it's about transmitting this life force that we're living, that we're feeling in this tribe, and allowing it to spill out into the world as a vibration and as an offering. And so this is the intention, and that's Bisha. He's got a big opinion about all of this as well. Okay. So look, I want to keep the call to a bit of like visual logistics. Like, can we paint the big picture of what we're doing here? So Lori gave you a big aspect of what Wild Love, where it started, what it is, how it's moving. Go to Wild Love website to find out more about the journey they're doing from Glastonbury to Delphi. It's a journey through Europe. It's a caravan. The idea is to do pop-up festivals in different cities in a coherent flow movement to giving this 3-day workshop that's called Earth Initiation. So those that are going in Glastonbury will get the download, and will be able to, the faculty members will be able to give these Earth Initiation downloads throughout the tour. So we could so the tour, what it would look like in my eyes of what I'm seeing, is we have this Wild Love movement. The Wild Love movement is to rewild love across Turtle Island, which includes the Canada to Mexico. And the idea is to come under a brand, an umbrella, and use a guerrilla style. I don't want to call it activism, because it's not activism. It's a transmission, guerrilla style transmission, using coming together in community and using our web to amplify the transmission and build momentum with it. And with this momentum, can we garner press? Can we garner attention towards the movement of bringing more consciousness to our relationships, to our love, to our eros? That's the piece that August spoke into. So that's the vision. So the idea is that we can actually do pop-up festivals, not festivals, but just clusters of events that are co-promoted within a territory under an organizer and contributors. And we go through. And so the pieces is that either you could be a host and open your city to our pop-up festival, which you would be holding point for as an organizer, and or are you a traveling gypsy that comes with us on this caravan? And the idea is to have at least one caravan going through the whole drive. That would feel really alive and organic and good. But hey, you know, if we have to fly in and fly out, that's cool as well. You know, like, where can you contribute? Where can you give your presence? Where can you give an offering? Where can we use your notoriety and name and expertise to drum up the drum of union behind this piece of rewilding love? And throughout that, we can pepper it with some earth initiations based on the facilitators that have been there. Now, these earth initiations are organized by two specific organizers. In Canada, it's Stefan Kreit, and in USA, it's Rich Priddis. So the earth initiations would be held by a central point of those two people, and anything and everything around it is open to visual expression, creation, whatever the community wants to create. And I'm going to end on this topic, this point, which is I had no way, shape, or form want to be the engine of this project. I am calling it to presence, and I will only give it the same energy everybody else gives it, and I won't lead it. I would love to see each of us take ownership and bring it to life. This is whether you're on the call or you're watching this preview, there's ways for this to evolve once we create the skeleton for it. I'm putting some energy into it, but I won't be able to be everywhere. My agenda is completely full. So it's like, how do we jump in and maintain this flame throughout this itinerary we create? Oh, I do have one more. I do have one more thing to say. I want to leave on a metaphor or an analogy. I was listening to this Alan Watts video, and it was a great talk. And basically, he spoke about we've got it wrong when we look at a life as the journey. Like that's like getting from one place to another place, because you're always going to look for the next place. What life, in essence is basically play. It's a dance, it's music. You play music, you're in movement, you're in dance. You don't go into dance or music to find the end goal. You do it as an experience of essence flowing through you and the whole composition, dance or music. So may Wild Love not look like a journey, with, masculine need to look, but more of a dance, like birds moving together in intuition. And on that, I leave it to the table.
I'd like to just add something to that. So last night I just happened to find this documentary called Woodstock, 3 Days That Defined a Generation. And I feel like, I didn't put it together last night, but as you were talking, Frank, I suddenly was like, that's what happened. 500,000 people showed up on Yasgur's farm in Bethel, New York, and they had the transmission of what Wild Love was. And those people got the experience, and even though there were people who were touched by that, the transmission wasn't, the consciousness wasn't ready to really have it travel around the world. And so now, and this is why this astrological alignment is important, because the astrological alignment is what it represents, is that the consciousness is ready now for this transmission. Whereas there, it was just like a little acupuncture point that infected some of us, a generation of us who's still been carrying it and waiting for it to happen. And so for those of you who missed out on that, you might want to check it out. Woodstock, 3 Days That Defined a Generation. It's on Netflix. And you might pick up some of that energy, because it talks about how it happened and a lot of things that you don't see in the original movie that was about the music. This is about the movement. And there was something else, but I'll stop for now because somebody else wanted to say something.
Yeah, I just want to mention for me, the synchronicity that's coming up for me. I have been feeling pulled to do more of my own stuff, but I have a rig. It's like a 38-foot fifth wheel trailer, and I have this big Arabian tent. And I was thinking, this next year, I really need to go around to festivals and have like a theme camp, and now I'm here in this Wild Love thing, and I'm going, well, that's it, right? I could totally take my rig through the whole tour and sort of be a common point that goes throughout, carrying stuff, whatever.
Command center, bro. Command center.
Command center. That's it. Yeah. So I'm feeling that goes right along with what I was feeling.
That somehow reminds me of something you had in your fifth wheel on the door between your office and the kitchen. There was something about Wild Love, or I don't remember the words.
We called my rig the Wheels of Consent.
The Wheels of Consent, spreading wild love everywhere it goes. That's it.
Yes.
So also, just so you know, Sprout's not on the call, but Sprout has a smaller rig. He has a converted school bus that's parked in Arizona. Just so happens, Rich, it's Sprout's bus is in Maricopa, not in the county, but in the town of Maricopa.
Hmm.
And so whether he'll be here to drive it or not, he said that he's offering it. So it could be that someone else starts the tour with you and drives along with you to wherever you're going in a smaller bus, or goes in some other direction, wherever else we want to cover. But that could house two, as far as I know, possibly more.
Yeah, there's the start of the caravan.
Now, it's one of the things in the in this movie. They talk about the hog farm. I don't know how many of you are aware of the hog farm, but it was a commune in Northern California in Laytonville, and Wavy Gravy was like one of the head guys there. Not that there was any head guys there, but anyway, they got hired to be the security at the Woodstock Aquarian Music Festival. And they called themselves the Please-Ease instead of the Police.
Yeah.
And so again, they had a whole camp set up with their crazy, colorful school buses and their teepees and their tents, and had a huge impact on that festival that you don't see in the original movie.
Sweet. All right. So anybody else want to say anything before I shift gear?
I have a question.
Okay, August, Usha, Lori, Christopher, everybody. Okay, I keep it open.
You said something about earth initiations. Can you elaborate on what that is?
I wish I could, but I can't because nobody knows anything.
No one
Bottom
knows
line,
what it is.
It is the launch. It is the launch of I would say the central core wild love messaging or experience or initiation. I can't speak into more than that. It is a group of leaders that are going to be in Glastonbury, who are going to move in the unknown with Bruce, and we're going to get that download. And once we get that download, we will be able to offer it to the rest of wherever we want to seed it. So we can't speak more to it than once we get to it. And that's
So where is it coming from? Like, where does the term come from? What is it's from Bruce?
It's Bruce.
Okay.
Bruce Lyon has a vision of a transmission that's going to come through, and I'm sure that it's not like written down on any paper. It will happen in Glastonbury when that conjunction happens with whoever shows up, and the magic will be transmitted. And no one probably in this moment knows exactly what that will look like, or even generally probably what that will look like.
Got it.
So can I add to the question around that?
Sure.
Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
So I just want to reflect back and make sure I'm getting this. So in Glastonbury, in June of next year, some magical witchy ass shit is going to come through the void, through Bruce. It's going to be a transmission. And then we will be fulfilling on that, finding a way to implement that transmission using the tools that we have from the ISTA field, and whatever we individually find moves through us in alignment with that transmission. Is that accurate?
Let me read the official invitation we got for the people that have been invited to this. Do you want me to read it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Earth initiation. At the beginning of the Wild Love Tour is a very rare alignment in the heavens between the Earth, the Moon, the Sun, and the galactic center. All the key players in our cosmology aligned, as well as Pluto-Jupiter conjunction. The scene is set for a great planetary death rebirth drama. This weekend is designed to be a portal of transformation, a collective rite of passage between civilizations. It will be facilitated for the first time by Bruce, Janine, and Ohad. We will work with the essence of the death rebirth initiation and create new collective rituals that support the transition into a soul culture of love and freedom. You will be part of the road test and creative process. Over the next 10 years, as the planet comes to grips with what is happening to the biosphere as a collective near-death experience, millions of people are going to need to pass through the doors of initiation. This is our offering to make a transformational experience available to them. It will not be as sexually focused as ISTA programs, but will include eros and be an intense experience for the soul and heart. It will also support those who are drawn into ISTA work, as well as be an opportunity for faculty, apprentices, as well as experienced facilitators, organizers from related fields to teach. There will not be any centralized organization, but it is designed to spread under the new power paradigm where it can be adapted and proliferated according to inspiration and demand. The spirit of it as a gift to humanity. For the first workshop, we have a venue in Glastonbury. This event will spill over into a public festival. Invitations are to 36 facilitators, 12 organizers. And it goes on and on and on, but you get the main piece. That's,
and I think my understanding in talking to Bruce about it in New York during the Level 2 week is that I think part of the vision is that the people who are there at the original, in Glastonbury and receive that transmission will then go out and teach it. And then people who are inspired by that can take it back to their communities. So it's kind of it's a grassroots movement. So we will be like bringing it to people, and then people who feel inspired will take it to their people, and it keeps spreading out, and it's not going to be like a centralized core curriculum. It'll be a transmission that literally goes out in a wave around the planet and the galaxy.
Who's the new addition? ISTA Core.
Oh, that's Dawn Cherie. Hi, Dawn. Welcome.
Let's give her a moment to let her say something.
Go ahead,
Yeah. Hey, y'all. Good
Hi.
to see you. Yeah, I just got back to my room. We just rebirthed 34 more people, beloved souls, Level 2. Just had the ceremony. I'm just on my dinner break. I wanted to come in and see and feel you and feel where the vibration is, and it seems like it's spot on, and it's beautiful that we're getting clear what this is, what's happening for us and how we can contribute in North America. I love it. Beautiful vibrations here. We've just had a powerful festival, Level 1 and Level 2, so really, really ready to breathe, take a long exhale.
Congrats for that. We know how demanding that is.
Look glowing.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I'm under the light. Yeah, so I'm here. I'm gonna go into the meal, and but I can hear you for a bit.
Thank you.
Yay.
So who else?
I just wanted to offer one thing while we're still on the vision and how we apply it. In reference to Crystal's point about how the Woodstock changed the world in this experience, and then how that has evolved. I think one of the notable elements of the evolution of culture since then is that whereas in that it was an incredibly strong communal experience, there was still a deep perspective of the rock stars as the prophets transmitting the truth or the insight. And I think something that we've seen gradually growing through the Dead festivals and then to festival culture and Burning Man, and now to today, is the vital role of creation and co-creating culture. And that's really actually what this group is doing, which is awesome. But even to remember that the thing we're trying to do is not give people a transformative experience, but also give tools and space and inspiration to create their own transformative experiences.
Absolutely. Well said, Christopher.
Mm-hmm.
So the next where I would like to take this conversation is, what does the tour look like? Like, where does it start? Where does it travel? What does it pick up? Who is ready to put a stake in the ground and say, I will hold point for New York, I will hold point for Columbus, I will hold point for Montreal, I will hold point for, like, you know, Colorado. We need those people to identify themselves, so either on the call or watching the call. And so then, Matt, I'm really counting on you to have already built the most impressive, you know, map and journey with all the places that I listed. If you didn't do it by now, shame on you. I'm fucking with you totally.
No shame.
Matt is awesome, and he's really great at this stuff, and I really look forward to receiving some of his gifts towards what it could look like. And so I had a vision, so I'll just plop it, but I am no way, shape, or form attached. And I think what it would look like would be to say, the point holders, when are you available during the summer? And can we align those dates with each other so that we could have a flow? That's what I'm seeing.
So I can.
So good question as a potential point holder, really quick. My curiosity is around the duration in each point. You guys have an idea? I guess, are you thinking just a weekend, or is this 3-day week, a week? What are we feeling into?
I would say minimum
each
3 days.
of the points.
I would say minimum 3 days. Like, you know, the caravan gets in on a Thursday, boom, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then decompression and movement.
I think
So
3 days
one of the things that I
sounds
want-
like a, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, one of the things that I want to offer is that if we need more caravans, if we need more buses, if we need more cars or things like that, New York City is rife with many people who have those types of things. So if that's something that's within the intention to actually travel with it, I'm more than happy to start reaching out and seeing what's available for the next summer.
Cool. That sounds great. I think 3 days makes sense because people can take weekends off. And I think as soon as you start making it longer than that, you start running into, you know, it makes things a little harder. And also that maybe, I don't know what the structure is going to look like, but maybe it's also one of those things where there's an introductory night where people can come and check it out for lower, you know, $25, $30. And then, you know, 2 days of something that where there's a more of an investment. But you know, that's just a structure I've seen succeed, so that's what I'm offering.
What I'm curious about is if we could have a calendar for the different events already planned for the summer, so we can have an idea of like who in our core people are not going to be available this weekend, and when are we going to a place that has a training in the same area in the following weeks, right? Yeah, so map out a little bit this summer. There was a question, like the micro question about the duration, or was it doing 3 days, 4 days, or a week? It's also like how will this unroll over the entire summer from June to September? So I'd like to have an idea of other festivals, other trainings, be they level 1, or there is a PT in New York in July. Yeah, to map out a little bit, and then maybe come up with like a map. If we're a traveling caravan and we can be everyone at once, we need to plan this like international rock star tour thing with like an actual map and thing. And yes, I'm volunteering to drive.
So I've been looking at this. So if we want to go on that topic, I could give you a high level frame of what I know of. And Matt, maybe you want to start taking notes because you're going to be the one who's going to design how everybody puts their information and all that jazz, right? That seems like your shtick. All right. So in terms of dates, this is what I've got. We will be completing Earth Initiation on June 21st. And most of us that are there are going to then go to the Croatia Soulfire Festival, which is going to end at 28th. So that really only makes us operational as of the 29th. That said, it doesn't mean that we can't have some pre-events in the beginning of June as a ramp up towards what will be birthed in Glastonbury, and then what will be the torch that will be brought to Turtle Island as of the 29th. So we would have our first weekend available to do anything as July 3rd or 4th, Independence Day in the United States. Isn't that an interesting lineup? So it's like, where do we want to do that? So 3rd or 4th is the weekend of launch in North America. 10th and 11th are open. FYI, 13th to the 19th is ISTA Toronto. So maybe we want to be going through Toronto 10, 11, 12, which could look like we start off in Chicago. If we did like something Chicago, Toronto, and then we have the 24, the 25, the 26, with where I think we should put our first Earth initiation, and my feeling would be, I don't know where. But I mean, take that, it's not here nor there. 31st, it's free. The next thing in North America to be noted is New York, the 14th to the 20th of September. And there's also, excuse me, Dawn, what's the dates for Connecticut?
Kay knows them. She's not on anymore, I don't think. Kay, what are the Connecticut dates?
They're early June. I think they're the 4th or 5th, the 4th and on, but I can double check really quickly.
Right. So please double check that so that we could add it to the calendar. So those are the posts that we have right now that I know of. I could leave the floor to Lori and Crystal to offer anything else they know of.
It's going to be on June 8th, by the way. June 8th through June 15th in Connecticut.
All right, Matt.
Yeah, I got that. I'm seeing Toronto 13th to 19th, and that's on the morrow of it's a practitioner training. It's 20th to 27th July. We're back to back.
That's good to know.
Guys, I have to go in a moment to get ready for a session. I plan to have another level 1 in either October or November of 2020. So I would love to have something in Atlanta before then.
Before Wild Love?
No, for Wild Love, before the next the fall training.
So I'm confused. When's your next training that you want to have by?
So we have a training in April, and I don't have the one after that scheduled yet, but my intention is to have it be in October or November. But this is only going through the summer, so that isn't even an issue. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. But
Sorry.
Here's what I need to know from you before you depart. Like
Yep.
Are you gonna hold point for the Dirty South?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So you and Johnny could align some tag team in around Atlanta, Florida. Like that will be the.
Yeah.
Are there dates that, like, if we go based on these average journey that I'm seeing in the top of my mind, which is not in stone, would probably be. So let's say we start the 3rd, 4th. I don't know where. 10, 11 or 10, 11, Chicago. I would say Chicago, Toronto, Montreal. We could do an Earth initiation in Montreal, 24, 25, 26. And then from Montreal would go New York or Boston, maybe, unless we don't have a Boston. So August 1st, August 8th would be like New York, New England. Then the 15th, 22nd of August could look like Atlanta, Florida. The 29th would then go, where do we go from there? Do we go do something in Mexico, or do we do something in our next available high volume place, which is Arizona?
Yeah,
I have to leave.
You don't
I love you guys.
Ciao.
I will check in later. I gotta go.
Hey,
Bye. Love you.
Bye, August.
in Arizona in August.
So just for
There's
the
nothing
August
happening
stuff, as far
in
as like
Arizona.
summertime,
You'll
ahead,
cook.
Lori.
Everyone will cook on the sidewalk.
Yeah, and I was going to say like, it's going to be rainy season between July and August until probably September. That's when nobody wants to be in Florida. So if it was like late August, possibly, but it's just a gamble where people aren't really going to want to be outside in the Florida or Georgia area.
So what does it look like? So how do we change this? What is the new equation we need to make?
Yeah.
So I can't hear you, Crystal. I know you're onto something, but I can't hear you.
I'm sorry. Penny is going to be at the Earth Initiations in Glastonbury, and she has a big network in Boston and is an organizer in Boston. So definitely we would want to get in touch with her at some point and reach out to her about Boston, because she'll be one of the people who can give the initiations. And I'm not available pretty much from June through August. I'm in Europe. But I could do something in September. I'm going to be in Easton Mountain in September for level 1, and I could do something like my family is in Atlanta, so I could come to Atlanta before that or after that and do something in Georgia or Florida, either one. So I'm available for September, October, possibly. And also in California, I could do something in October before or after our level 1 there.
Okay, so there's a lot of information in the air. What I'd like to do is I'll get started on a map, I'll get started on a calendar, and I will coordinate individually with the people. When do you have things already planned? Which region? I'm very spreadsheet oriented. So I have like this little database of like, okay, here are all the people and the cities where they could be. Involvements in our project. I'll make sure on the calendar we have anything like at the very least the official list of events being organized, the level 1, level 2 PT, and then add any other festival or any somewhat related event that we could do. So for that, to get the individual information, I think I'll be contacting people one-on-one. I'll put a drive share with the map and the calendar and everything, so everybody can have a look at it, and I'll give whoever asks like some comments. I don't like to give read writes because I like to curate it, but add comments, and I'll get that started.
Perfect.
Lori.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
Florida's going to be good in either beginning of June or at the end of September.
Okay, no, we're not doing that. We're
probably
going to do that all in spreadsheet. Lori's got something to share.
well, we're all going to be most of us are going to be in Arizona for something called the festival in April. So I would say that takes care of Arizona. I wouldn't plan Arizona later than April. The same. And that'll be way before the kickoff in June, but so what? We'll all be gathered there, and that makes the most sense weather-wise and everything else. And then also, I'll be in Toronto. So with you and with Carolyn, so we can do something in Toronto around the Toronto training.
Montreal, Toronto, yeah.
We hope that the festival will be in Arizona in April. Eugene's still working that out, and yeah, crossing my fingers. He's talked about having it in California even. So, but we should most of us be there at the core. Well, a lot of us.
One other consideration that I'd like to know if Rick's interested in is we could do something in Sedona, like later, October, November, because this is not like it's just in the summer. This can go on and it can keep going on. So that might be something to consider if we can find a venue that works, or even bringing it to Phoenix in October, November. Even as early as end of early December is possible, because that's when the weather's
this
awesome.
Is what I'm seeing. So Matt, please, if you could create like a spreadsheet, questionnaire, whatever you need, that says like lists all the characters that are in the list of the messenger, and have them put in information like, are you interested? When are you available? Role, which could be facilitator, organizer, contributor, whatever. Now on that topic, because this is a recording, I want to add that anybody could offer anything. The only prerequisite we're asking is that they are a level 2 graduate. So for example, if Johnny wants to do something on brotherhood or touch or whatever in his region or any other region, it's an offering that he could give, he could do that. If Brianna wants to do wheel of consent work, whatever, she could give that anywhere. But the whole thing is that it's part of this Wild Love Festival, this upspringing of knowledge and information that we are transmitting to the culture. So you could be a level 2 graduate and be a facilitator of workshops that are attached to the weekend. And sometimes they may or may not have earth initiation facilitators. So those are two different discrepancies.
I have one other question, and that is, can two things be going on simultaneously? Like is that okay?
Why not?
Yes, I think so.
Caravan.
Why not?
So something could be happening in Phoenix or California at the same time as something could be happening in New York.
I mean, let's check that out. If that's what needs to happen, then how do we align those two? How do we actually make them vibrate together? Is there a technology piece where we are, streaming something? Is there a social media piece that we're crossing? What's going on that these two things are, and how do we connect to the other ones happening all over the world? How about that?
Right. Because I was just watching something on quantum physics, and it's like this spooky action as a distance. When this one lights up, this one over here lights up because we're all connected. So I don't see that as a problem. And I think there could be even one-day events in various places by people who've done ISTA who want to bring that to attention, who aren't necessarily giving the earth initiations. And I also want to say there could be people who are interested in promoting the vision and the events who won't necessarily be able to be all part of the tour, but could help spread the word, right? And the vision.
Promoters.
So that's another place that we could have people participate.
Another piece could be if we identify maybe a theme of each of those days, and so because we're going in line with that theme, even though we have different facilitators, essentially the energy is still flowing the same way, and we can sync up that way.
I would also like to offer one kind of unusual resource, and that is that what Dawn and I have been developing, there's two things. One is really more kind of performative or interactive performance sort of activations, which is, I think, like, for example, like Crystal's idea of an evening, a taster evening that gets people interested, and then they join the weekend. So, between EO and I and Dawn, we have a number of material that's really designed for that. And then the other thing that Dawn and I are doing is we're teaching these workshops, which are they're all about actually creating ritual theater. And we're in talks with 4 different organizers, all kind of across the north, right? Montreal, Toronto, Chicago, and Vancouver. If that would be something that could link, it's also something I would offer to this crew, right? As something maybe that happens before, or the weekend before, or even during the week before one of these events, as really creating a culture and a community and some activities for the event. So those are just 2 kind of unusual resources which are now on the table.
2 points. For me, STAR and theater ritual is part of the curriculum. Like, to me, it's like, absolutely. It's part of the culture that's going to travel with the caravan. So I don't understand truly why the week before. I would just say choose the place and get the enrollments, do the performance, get the enrollments, and offer it as part of the offering during the pop-up festival.
Yeah, I would love to see that there would be a specific transmission around around the transmission of Wild Love itself as a theater performance, group ritual, whatever thing, so that you're bringing the essence of that through. And Christopher, I'm just going to say, if you've been invited, you should definitely come to Glastonbury so you can get the download. And if you haven't been invited, get yourself invited.
I've been invited. I'm trying to make it happen.
All right, so STAR is.
But But just to explain, Frank, the difference is that, you know, if we really do a workshop, that is like a 3-day experience of exercises. So I didn't want to like replace an activity. I wanted to be in service
There's
of
no
it.
replacement. It's all as big as the organizer could hold.
Okay.
Ready to hold point for, and how much you're willing to show up. So there could be actually 4, you know, events happening at the same time in the same city.
Got it.
Different locations. It's on a calendar. You go to one of them. Now, of course, we don't want to overdo that, but something like STAR is an offering that you get a call to. It's like, oh, that's what I want to learn more about. And you invest yourself in STAR. You live an experience. Wow, wild love.
Okay, great. So it could be included as an option, as a wild love event. Great, thank you.
That's part of the excitement for me.
It's wild. It's not civilized. That's part of it. It's going to be very, you know, it's going to be this wave of vibrancy that's going to have its own life. And the whole point about wild is that it's not too, you know, spreadsheets are awesome, and I'm glad Matt's into it because that's not my strength. However, part of the wildness of it is that it's going to have its own life. And yes, we want to give it some structure to get it off to a good start, just like a child. You know, you just don't throw them out in the deep end of the pool. You give them some swimming lessons, and then it's going to take off and have its own momentum.
Right. So what else? So yeah, performances, entertainment, like this does not have to be like workshops. It could be like, you know, depending what kind of momentum we're getting, do we want to have like a lounge event? Do we want to have a temple night? Do we want to have a plant medicine journey? Do we want to have a rave? What do we want to do? What does it feel like? And so we pop in and out of different cities, and we could give our energy to those cities in order for it to have a life. I would say we get a central website. It's either the Wild Love website or Wild Love Turtle Island. I could align with Bruce and figure out how he would want that. My guess it's all on the Wild Love site. We could get all our events posted to those, to that calendar. But I think there's just needs to be a crystallizing that needs to happen around dates, momentum, availabilities, commitment, and roles.
Yeah. So I did want to offer New York City as one of the hubs, obviously. And I'll say that, you know, we've been building here for about 2 years now, and it's felt like it's kind of been leading up to something, although I don't think any of us, including myself, knew what it was leading up to. And I kind of want to set the city on fire next summer with all of this. So I wanted to offer that. I'm happy to step in as an organizer for New York City. But in addition, I think it'd be awesome if we had a few days of just like really like in nature with the caravan, somewhere in the forest, somewhere upstate. I could find a place for us to rent a space and like really, really do the wild thing somewhere next to the city, and then kind of bring it back with us. So that would be my piece of offering.
You should see if Yaskra's farm is still in business.
So
I said you should see if Yaskra's farm is still in business.
That would be great. Bethel, New York. So I would just say, since I'm coming to New York to do the level 1 there in September, I would be yes to doing something there before that, or yeah, probably right before that would be great. So anyway, we could talk more, Kay.
Absolutely.
So I'm noticing there's some very seasonal restrictions on weather, especially Florida for the South. So maybe by I don't know what time it's starting to be appropriate, or the temperature is good enough to hold anything in, let's say, Georgia, Florida, and all the way west to Texas, New Mexico, Arizona. Shouldn't we, like you mentioned, Crystal, shouldn't it be nearer to like the September? Does the temperature start going down? These are kind of consideration I don't want to get into the details of right now, but part of it, right? Have something that follows the sun a little bit, follows the weather, or avoids the sun in this case.
Yeah, October, November, they're beautiful. This is like the best time of year to be down here because it's not too hot. The mosquitoes aren't biting crazy. The rain and the thunder stops. So yeah, I mean, this would be ideal time frame for an event.
So I don't want to get into too much detail around that, but there's certainly like this idea that maybe more during the summer we could do the more northern parts and like slowly move south as it gets cooler there, more bearable. So yeah, my experience of Florida, not the heat, it's the humidity, man.
So I have
That's right, it'll kill you. You're out of the mosquitoes.
I have one specific kind of question or offering on this, and I know I've been in conversation with Stefan and Philippe about, and the Montreal crew about star activities there at the end of July, beginning of August. And I'm wondering which we're all down for. And so maybe could I invite a couple people for a sort of a little regional chat, maybe also with Carolyn to coordinate sort of mid-July through mid-August area in the Northeast, and would Kay in the New York City even be a potential thing? It's kind of a thing where we might we were planning to do a week-long retreat and develop a show. So there could be a show that's available with everyone there that's just, we could just deploy. Is that interesting? Is there anyone that would like to be included or that I should include on that? Matt?
I guess if I'm around, I'll be part of that show.
Awesome.
Lori has her hand up.
Nice.
I said I was going to be in Toronto, so I'm raising my hand for that.
Okay, great.
Plus, there might be
Definitely curious about it.
There's also probably a time when I can stop in New York, somewhere in between things.
So this is it. We need to get a better picture of what this looks like, because I just don't want this being leaned on a core group of people. It really has to take its shape. Like Matt, we're gonna lean on him now to get the vision and this map out. But once that's done, everybody needs to pull their weight, because it's only going to be as successful as we're willing to commit. And I've been in way too many groups that it's yes, 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 but then don't do the work that it needs to really take off. So I don't want to be the one that's going to pull all of it, and I won't. I'm going to let go if nobody's doing anything either, to see if there's any other leaders that are going to step up. So I'm really happy to do this right now. I'm excited about it. And I want to feel everybody's commitment, and it's best to undercommit than to overcommit. That's to everybody.
Yeah.
So thank you for taking care of yourself in that way. It's clear, claro, and got it. So in terms of myself and Crystal, I just speak for us. We both already have schedules that are pretty full, and so it's going to take some coordinating with Matt, like when we're going to be somewhere and when we're going to be somewhere else. So I'm not committing to anything yet, except that I know I'll be in Toronto, and I know I can do that. And then I could step in and out of various places for a day. I'm not going to be somewhere for 3 days. I'm not going to be part of a show. I'm not going to do anything more than what I already have, which is monumental. But I will be in and out of it, and I will stand for something happening in Arizona area later on in the year. Crystal's talking about October, November. She and I could do stuff together then. And Rich, we can coordinate that with you. And then there's also Lance and Michael and other ISTA graduates in Arizona who would be interested. So that's what I'm going to commit to, besides Glastonbury, Berlin, and Croatia. That's a lot. So
rock and roll.
Frank, can I ask you, send me the information about the Croatia Soul Love Festival, because I don't know about that. If you, after this call, if you could just send me a link or something.
Cool.
I don't think but
Frank, were you making a general appeal in the future, or do you want us to say some things that we're specifically willing to do right now?
Honestly, the only thing I want to do is present the idea, get the vibration, feel how people are feeling, get the wheel turning from the mechanic perspective with Matt, commit to some deadlines, and make another call to which we could go more into the coloring between the lines. Unless there's something you want to offer. I mean, I'm open.
So Carol and I have a call next week, Friday of next week. And so by the end of that call, we will commit to something that's happening between Toronto and Montreal.
Yay.
And we'll be in touch with Matt.
Yeah, I'll get in touch with Matt about what I'm available for, and I'll talk with Kay. And I also have a crazy schedule, but I have some time at the very end of the year that I could put a couple of shorter things.
So my desire, Matt, is do you think you could design something where, like, not only us sending to you by email, but like posting with this video for all participants to fill out, and that you'll get a better idea of, like, what's the best way to get this mechanic in place?
Right. So as you post this video, under it, we'll put a link with like a Google form asking basic information. Where are you? What do you see yourself doing? What are your availabilities? What events are you aware of? What kind of sub event or activities would you like to offer? Or do you have ideas for in the weekend if it were offering? Thank you. If it were to come to your region, or what would you be willing to offer somewhere else? So like break it down into questions like that.
So that's all going to get done. Nobody has to send anything to Matt, really. He just got
perfect.
He's got to get that done, and he's going to communicate it in this thread. The thread that we're all communicating on.
Excellent. All right, guys, I'm going to have to take off. So
I feel pretty complete as well. Is there anybody that needs anything, or we're just, so Matt, it's to you, and yes, thank you everybody.
I have a request.
Okay, Liz.
Just real quick. Frank, would you be open to have a one-on-one conversation to expand a little more on this, since I just happen to be here, and I'm hearing a lot of things that are feeling very synchronized with what I'm on to right now, which is oriented to Mexico, but I still feel like it's like very vague and I have questions around it. So would you be open to that?
Yeah, I just need to see my schedule. So let's when we hang up, we'll touch
Right. Yeah. Thank you.
And so I also am going to be point on an August, late July, Northeast Montreal. I have a bunch of other people committed on that too, Daphne, Philippe, Stefan. But if you want to be involved in that discussion, just drop me a line and I will set up a call within the week.
And I still feel good about, I've already said this, but I'll restate it, being holding point for the traveling caravan, having a common,
Beautiful.
whatever. Yeah, holding point.
Yeah, and I'm
excited about that. Sorry,
to
go
do
ahead.
something in California, and there's not very many other California Northwest people on this call. So if they're watching this recording, I'm really excited to connect with some people, maybe Philippe, and I don't know who else is over here. And I'm thinking maybe, and sometime in August or September, we have an ISTA level 1 in October. So Matt, I'll get you those dates, and yeah.
Beautiful. I think this is an amazing call. You guys are all awesome.
Yeah, we have an amazing group of people. I chose them based on like who's doing what, who's investing in ISTA, who's been growing, who's got momentum, and it's a beautiful group of great contributors. And we'll see. We all get on board. We'll do something beautiful.
Adios, mi amigos.
See your beautiful faces.
I love you all.
Love you guys. Oh, we're not leaving yet. We're gonna